I'd like to welcome Mr. Len Rhodes, President and CEO of the Edmonton Eskimos, to LiveTalks. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure being here.
I'm happy to be here. Beautiful office, great view. I want to get right into it, actually. What's the most exciting aspect of kicking off a new football season?
Oh, it's knowing that soon enough fans will fill the stadium. When you have 40,000 plus fans at Commonwealth Stadium, nothing comes close to that. It's euphoria. And we're in the fan business. We're a gate-driven league. Having people back in the stadium is what it's all about.
Do you see this team? I know you've been watching. I know it could be a little early to tell, but do you see this team playing for the Grey Cup this year?
We want to be contenders, so we're never going to promise that we're going to win a Grey Cup. We haven't won one since 2005, so we're overdue. We put a lot of things in place so that we have the winning conditions, but now it's up to the coach and his coaching staff to get things done and to execute. We want to be sure that we have a chance to win every game, but the last thing we want to do is promise that we're going to win or guarantee any victories along the way.
Yeah, you've been, other than just being the president of the Eskimos, you've been a huge impact here in the community. I mean, you sit on the board for the Edmonton Chamber of Commerce, same with the Northlands Arena District, but you really have a soft spot in your heart for animals. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I sure do. First of all, when I moved here in 2011, I joined a community-owned team. So community-owned team technically means that we are not-for-profit organization, which is really neat in pro sports. But community-owned also means you got to walk the talk. And what we do on the field is great and fabulous, and that's our core part of our business. But it's a lot more than that. It's making this community better. So when I moved here in 2011, I said, I'm all in. I want to make sure that I get involved myself, and last year in 2014 I went to 100 community events over and above my job, whatever my job is, and that gives me a lot of satisfaction. And you're right, there's two areas really over and above amateur football in terms of what we do to support the growth of our sport in this community. Women's, especially domestic violence against women, is what we want to really fight about ending what's going on there, and then advocacy for animals as well. I really think that you can measure the quality of your society in large part how you treat people, women included, and B, how you actually treat those that depend on you, animals.
Yeah, the Dogs with Wings. Right?
Yes.
And then also the Edmonton Humane Society Walk in the Park with Pets?
Yeah, Pets in the Park, which takes place on June 28th. It's close to my heart. The Humane Society asked me to get involved 2 years ago after I picked up the phone and introduced myself. I remember calling their president and said, hi, I'm Len Rhodes, I'm with the Eskimos. I want to help, tell me how I can help. So we had a few conversations. Since then, it's a new president that came in, and I'm going to be the marshal for the walk at the Pets in the Park with my girlfriend. That's the Humane Society side, and we're raising money for that. And then B, for Dogs with Wings, we actually foster service dogs in training. So we've had one, Oakley's her name, a black lab, and she's gone on to help a woman that has cerebral palsy that uses a wheelchair all the time. But this woman, Carly, works at the Citadel Theatre full-time Monday to Friday as a receptionist, and Oakley is there by her side. And Oakley can pick up a credit card from the floor and give it to her intact.
Really?
Wow,
oh yes,
crazy.
Open doors. Number of things, up and down escalators. When we'd go to the mall together, Oakley was a star. So you always had to allocate twice as much time to go shopping with Oakley because everyone wants to know about this service dog. So it is difficult to give up the dog after your trainer, but you got to think of the bigger picture as to why you're doing it. It's to change someone's life. So we're going to do it again. We're 2 weeks away from getting another service dog from Dogs with Wings. This one's going to be a brown lab, and we already know it's going to be Fletcher. And Fletcher is going to be there to help victims of crime. especially young people that sometimes have to go to court, talk to counselors. So I'm going to learn a lot about that process as well, because it's going to be a different skill set for the dog and for us, fostering the dog for that.
As a volunteer yourself, what advice would you give somebody that's looking to donate some of their time to a charity? How do you go about picking a charity?
Should be something that you have a passion for. Don't do something just so it looks good. Do it because you really want to do it. And that's why I could get involved with so many different endeavors, but I choose the animal side. And because I grew up with 3 sisters, no brother, I did have a dad and a mom, but I have 1 child, she's a daughter, so I've been surrounded by a lot of women, and I really care about women's rights in terms of the what we need to do there. So we helped the women's shelter, Win House. Over the last 3 years, we've given close to 1,000 pairs of shoes, because unfortunately, some women and children have to run out of their house without even having the shoes on their feet. Mm-hmm. But it's almost too late once they get to the shelter, because the crime has already occurred. So what we got to do is change the influence, the behaviors before they occur. And we've teamed up with the Alberta Council of Women's Shelters, and we've sent some players to workshops for 3 or 4 days. They in turn can go into schools and talk to young men in particular and just say, frankly, it's not cool to hit a woman. And there's no excuses. If your dad did it when you grew up, turn the page. It's time to change the channel, and we have a responsibility. So that's how we're really making changes, so that less women end up in the shelters in the first place.
I think that's really wonderful that you do that. Mm-hmm. But just if I can go back towards the Eskimos a little bit,
yes.
Where do you hope to lead the Eskimos in the future? Is there something you haven't done yet that maybe you're hoping to do?
So much to do, Brianna. We have a map called Route 2019. It's literally our 5-year plan, and we map out everything we need to do from now till then to get to the promised land, which for us is a Grey Cup, or Grey Cup plural, championships. We want to get there for our fans. It's been a long time. We have 13 Grey Cup championships. We had 5 in a row from 78 to 82. That's beautiful tradition, but we've got to talk about the future, and my role is to really lead the organization so that we make fans proud, we fill the stadium. The good news is, 11 of the last 12 years, the Edmonton Eskimos have had the highest attendance in the Canadian Football League. Yeah, absolutely. So we lost it 2 years ago to those guys in green and white in Saskatchewan, but we got it back last year, and we don't want to give it up. So highest attendance, but it's magical when we hit that threshold of 40,000 plus on any given day. We have an average of 34,000 plus last year.
The energy.
Go Edmonton.
Yes. Oh, it's fabulous. And even when some of the other teams, particularly Saskatchewan or Calgary, come into town, of course, some of their fans follow, but that's great because rivalries are good, and they also spend money when they're here.
I know that with Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan has die-hard fans.
They sure do.
It is insane.
Yeah, they're very passionate. Now, they don't have NHL hockey in their marketplace.
Okay, yeah.
So that is their pro sport. Edmonton, though, it's Edmontonians love sports in general. So it's great. You don't have to hate one sport because you love one. The fact that the Rush won a championship in the NLL is fabulous for this city. We should be putting those signs back up. City of Champions. It's because it goes beyond, actually it's beyond sports. City of Champions in my mind always meant it's about the people that do things to make this a better place. But the Rush have done a fabulous job. The Oilers are going to get it back on track now with the changes they've made. And for us, we want to lead the way. And we have one advantage. We are closest to the community. Accessibility is a core value of this club. And that means the players are accessible. We had Fan Day in Spruce Grove just last weekend. 1,300 fans showed up, and all our players at the end of the practice signed autographs for the fans. Everyone stayed until every fan got the autographs that they needed, and that really is what makes me proud.
Yeah, that's super important, definitely.
It sure is, because it's about developing your fan base. You want them to give back, and you want to get the next generation in here. So, while it's beautiful that we've been established since 1949, there's wonderful stories. I met a woman, actually, Laura is her name, in Spruce Grove last weekend. She's been a fan literally since day one, 1949. She has been with the club as a season seat holder, and she missed a total of 10 games
I've seen that. That's incredible.
Since 1949. Now, that is incredible. She's in a senior's residence right now, but she's still going to come to games this year, and it's fabulous. She's sharp as a whip. And so you see that tradition. What you want is for Laura to bring her children and her grandchildren so that way years forward, 100 years from now, people are still talking about the generation after generation supporting the Eskimos and what we mean in this community.
The game day experience continues kind of thing.
Oh, it's game day experience is really part of our key strategy, Brianna. We have what we call the fan engagement triangle. So part of our strategy is quite simple. Any strategy should be simple. The core is our fan. We're a gate-driven league. Number one revenue source, unlike other sports, is people who buy tickets. That's number one. It's about 40% of our total revenue from a team standpoint. So we want people in the building. So when people come in the building, we got to give them that best experience. So we want to engage fans. There's three parts to our strategy. First and foremost, we're in the football business, so on-field performance. People buy tickets, first and foremost, to come watch a game. The second element to the fan engagement triangle is what we do and what we call the game day experience. The game day experience is really unique in the sense that, unlike any other business, we only open our doors 10 times a year. So imagine if you had a retail store and you pay your rent all year long and you have staff that you pay, but you only open your store 10 times a year. That's the business model in which we operate. Yeah. And imagine if your same store didn't have a roof. So if it rains on your inventory, that's another challenge. Commonwealth Stadium doesn't have a roof. So that we can't use that as excuses. It just means we better maximize all 10 games. So last year we approached the Disney Institute. There's no better group than the Disney Institute about customer service and trained us in terms of focusing on the game day experience.
And didn't you used to work for Disney?
I did not. No, but I guess we all work for Disney. Disney. No, never worked for Disney. But when you go to Disney, whether you're working there or where you're just a client, I think you all live the experience. So that's what we want to bring here.
I've noticed from attending games that, just from switching the seats to the green and gold seats and LED signage and things like that, what other implementations have you done to change the game day experience?
Yeah, a lot of upgrades. Now, one little challenge we have, which is maybe not that bad of a challenge, is the fact that we don't own the stadium. The city of Edmonton owns Commonwealth Stadium. We rent it, so we're the primary tenant of Commonwealth Stadium, which means we pay a rent and we get to use the stadium for the most part based on our needs. Other than this year with FIFA coming in, it's displaced us, and we can talk about that later. But we've done many upgrades. We have great collaboration with the city of Edmonton. It's a special relationship. We find ways to get things done. And yes, there's a lease agreement, but sometimes we get together in terms of some upgrades. So the city put in the new seats, but we also worked with them so that they could put a video board. So the giant video board that's now Commonwealth Stadium is brand new. Last year we replaced our sound system at the stadium. We upgraded all the locker rooms, the visitors' locker rooms, the referees' locker rooms, everything except the home locker room, because that one was really already pretty strong. Going into 2015, we just recently announced that we're going to install Wi-Fi at Commonwealth Stadium. For free. Oh, for free. So we're doing this with TELUS. And talk about fan engagement and that game day experience. You can't be at a disadvantage if you're coming to a game live if you can't use your telephone, your mobile units, your smartphone, whatever it has, gadgets. People want to multitask, and we have to let them really do that so that the avid fan can do a deep dive in statistics, the more casual fan can just tweet a photo, and everything in between. So we're spending $2.1 million with TELUS. The city is not investing into it, but we're allowing the city to use the Wi-Fi system for all events that come to Commonwealth Stadium. That shows the true spirit of collaboration.
Yeah, I could definitely tell from me just coming to the games that the atmosphere is better. The energy in the building feels more alive.
Yes, Warren Moon was here last year because we inducted 2 new members to our Wall of Honor. And Warren Moon had not been here for 2 years, and he's a legend. But he came back and he was in my office where we are today, and he was looking outside towards the stadium. And he said, "This is just spectacular." He goes, "What you guys have done inside the stadium is really neat." So what we want to do is start working in the concourses as well. And this year, we put all brand new video boards for the menu boards so that they're digital, because they were the original ones from 1978. And it looked like from one of those old carnivals that come into town. So we have to upgrade everything we're doing, especially if we're trying to connect with the younger demographic, which we are trying to do.
And aside from Eskimos, because that obviously is probably one of your favorite sporting events.
Yes.
But when you were younger and growing up, what was a favorite sporting event that you saw, and what made it so magical for you?
Oh, hockey. And I still remember going to hockey games with my dad. That was magical. We didn't really have money to buy tickets at the time, but we were lucky. Some of my uncles that were working, especially in sales, would come up with tickets once in a while, give us a call, and offer us a pair of tickets. Going there, to this day, 51 years old, I remember those magic moments with my dad going to watch the Montreal Canadiens where I grew up. And they've won 24 Stanley Cups, and almost every year when I was in school there was a Stanley Cup parade. So we got very spoiled and used to the high performance. But I kept that tradition going. You know, I have a daughter, she's 24 now, but I remember taking her to football games and hockey games, and that bonding that you have at a live sports event with your child is magical, and it's memorable not only for the child but also for the parent.
100%. Yeah, because I was actually saying to Dave earlier, I went to one of your games.
Okay.
I must have been about 5 or 6.
Yes.
And it was snowing.
Yes.
And raining, and I was crying. But I still remember it because I was thankful that my dad took me to an Eskimo game and took the time out of his day to do that, even though it was cold.
Yeah, and you know, people call those 20 years later classic moments when the weather's bad, but they're far from classic. I'd be crying too, because that means there's less food and beverage sales, and we sell a little more apparel because people are buying jackets to keep them dry. But yeah, coming to a live event is really special, and when you look at the crowd here, it's very diverse on any given game. Some again come and they just want to focus on the game, but some come just to meet friends, to have a drink with friends, see the entertainment at halftime, to celebrate before the game, after the game. So it's really Edmonton's largest social event 10 times a year where people gather. And it's not too many games in the sense that you say, oh gosh, I have to go to another game. It's almost a commitment. 10 games is just perfect.
Well, that's the good thing about football. It's so easy to pay attention to and to really notice every game because there's not that many games. The season isn't that long.
Exactly. You know, people that are season seat holders for baseball, I wonder how do they get to 81 home games? You know, yeah, I guess you're sharing your tickets or you don't have anything else going on in your life. Yeah. So this is really a way to escape. Many fans come here and buy tickets, and you want to put them into a place where they're having fun, turn the frowns into smiles, forget about their problems, and maybe for 3 or 4 hours in their day or in their week, they get to escape from everything, all the stresses that they have in any given day.
That's nice, right?
And then with having accomplished so much in your life, and you've done a lot, especially with the Eskimos here since you've taken over, what does success mean to you?
Success really means about satisfaction and making things better. I've been really, really lucky. I've worked in the beer industry, I've worked in the hockey industry, and now I'm in the football business. And most men would look at me, and many women as well, and say, you're pretty darn lucky. And I don't apologize for it. I've been lucky because I need to do what I love, because I never have done 9 to 5. It becomes my life, and sometimes at the expense of my personal needs and personal side there. But that's okay. I've learned not to apologize for that because that's what makes me tick. So you're kind in your words, but there's a long ways to go to really be whatever successful is. But success for me, especially as I get older, is truly making a difference. And when I go to bed at night and see, especially on the community side, that third part of that fan engagement triangle and engaging with the community every single day, that's what gives me the most satisfaction. Because a sport, you can't get carried away. Everyone wants to win, but everyone in the league wants to win all the time. And there's pretty competent challengers out there. If it was so easy, we'd be winning the championship every year. But we want to make people proud, and we want to make sure that we're making their lives better even when they're not in this stadium. So that's very unique. So when I joined the Edmonton Eskimos, I moved from Montreal for this job. But when I was interviewing, I said, wow, there's something so special about this place. Now, oddly enough, my dad, who was born in Winnipeg, was an Eskimos fan when we were living in Montreal. So when I was a kid, I'd pull for the Montreal teams. He'd be pulling, especially in football, for Edmonton, and he'd be wearing his jersey. And unfortunately, he passed away before I got this job. But when I got it, I did look up in the sky and I said, Dad, this one's for you. And I know he's smiling as he looks down on us.
Proud moment.
Yeah,
it gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, it's really the truth, and that's what sports can do for you. So being in the business of sports, it is a business, but there's no reason why you shouldn't have fun and remind yourself that how fortunate you are. So whether I'm here for another year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, till the day I die, I want to make sure that every day something good is happening and we're moving this dial forward.
In those companies that you've named, so Reebok, CCM was one, Heinz was another, you've led and we're known as the turnaround guy.
Right.
What has given you that reputation?
Yeah, because I really like, I guess at the beginning I came into places where they had challenges and they were on the decline. My strength really from a marketing standpoint is being able to take established brands and take, you know, you look at an old doorknob, a bronze doorknob, there's some quality there, but you got to polish it so it comes back to life. But there's some strengths there. So when you look at a brand, there's equity in that brand. It's about making sure that you're upholding and maintaining the good positive equity, but getting rid of the things that are the negative baggage that are bringing it down. So I've been very fortunate. The largest challenge probably in my life is we've been with Reebok CCM, where I was running global operations. Our headquarters was based in Montreal. We were manufacturing sticks to helmets, skates, all the jerseys in the NHL, but also the European leagues, the Russian league. We had manufacturing plants, so I had 1,000 employees. It was a big business, $300 million. So they come to the Edmonton Eskimos, it's entirely different. It's a small business or mid-sized business, but it's a big brand, this community. And this stage of my life, nothing has given me more satisfaction than being connected with the Eskimos in this way.
Oh. And you kind of touched on it earlier too with the struggles of not separating, but making time for your personal and your work. How do you find that balance? And what would you tell someone who's younger? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I don't know if they should come to me for advice on balance. Yeah, because I
At all, right? You would have something to say on it.
I have, but it's cost me a marriage. So I was married for 21 years, and the symptoms were there that I wouldn't, you know, balance my life enough. So I would have bosses telling me that I had to take more vacation. So that's very rare. So I guess I was a boss's or a company's dream, but I wasn't taking care of myself in one aspect. But on the other hand, I said, what am I going to do? Go home and build birdhouses? I love doing what I do, so this is my satisfaction. So join me at work. And now, since I moved to Edmonton, I'm dating someone for now 1.5 years. Her name's Maureen. And we do things together. So with all my community work, she's been with me at probably 75 of those 100 community endeavors. And that's how we bond together and stay united. So I think my advice is, if you're not going solo, make sure you have a partner that shares some of those values and attributes and desires, because if you're going on a different page, it may be 21 years, but it may be 3 days and things are going to fall apart.
Yeah, that support is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hard work is one of my key attributes. I worked hard to you know, get an education and to have an opportunity, and then when the opportunity is there, you got to seize that opportunity.
I read somewhere that you said you immediately fell in love with Edmonton when you came.
Yeah.
What was it about the city that drove that love for you?
The people. So when I send notes or talk to people, family and friends in Ontario or Quebec, where I grew up, I say cold city, warm hearts. Because there's no denying, yes, it's a dry cold, but it's darn cold. But the people are extremely gracious, down to earth. I think the blue collar roots of Edmonton make it such. Now I can see, you know, it first took me a while to understand that diversity between Edmonton and Calgary and the challenge that exists, but it's a good friendly rivalry. But this one is real in terms of Edmonton. Real people. People used to point when I first got here, you see that person wearing jeans? Well, they're multimillionaires. They have small businesses that have really exploded.
Yeah, you'd never know.
You'd never know it. And that's what I love about it, because they don't feel like they have to flaunt it. They did it for their own satisfaction. And in many ways, they do give back to the community, and many of them don't even want to be noticed in terms of what they're giving back, because they want to do it for whatever reasons they have. Yeah.
And I think I already know the answer to this
Okay.
question, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
I'll see if I know it.
You will, you will. Do you think you'll ever stop working, or is there a day that you'd retire, or do you just love working so much?
Yeah, no, I don't want to be morbid, but I think I'm going to die with a heart attack during my work and before however it ends. There's a family history of that, and used to go, you kind of laugh about it. I guess it won't be funny if it ever did happen. But no, I could see myself working right to the end. Now, ideally, I'd be working for myself somewhere in the latter part of my career, because I did that as an entrepreneur while studying in university. I used to have this carpet cleaning service and floor sanding business while studying. But I always, when I take a moment to say, what do I really want to do? It would be to do something for myself. And maybe it's having an Irish pub in Edmonton and just doing things because I want to have fun.
Yeah. Right. So you're going to continue to keep doing it
Oh,
then,
for sure. For sure. Didn't mean to scare you about the heart attack.
No, I was just laughing because you just seem so humorous about it.
Oh,
but
for sure.
You have to make light of things.
You once said it's not a job, it's true passion. What is it about football that drives that dream for you?
You know, I'm very lucky because you got to look at this as a business. So I'm not sucked in as a fan the way, because too many people that come on the business side, if they get emotional as a fan, we need fans. We love our fans. But I can't be a fan in the same way that they can be, because then I wouldn't be able to make rational decisions. I'd be reacting. I'd be panicking if we lost any given day. I've got to have the 5-year plan. I put the resources in place so that our general manager and vice president of football operations, Ed Hervey, can get the job done with the talent that goes on the field. So I've got to make him successful. So we try to grow our business. The more people that come here and spend money, the more I can give back to football. And he, in turn, can go to Coach Chris Jones and make sure that the guys that we have on the field are performing to their maximum. That's how we come around. But I've got to be the level-headed person, because if everyone looks and I start panicking, then everyone's going to say, well, who do we turn to? So I've got to, when times are hot, really good, I got to bring it down a bit. And when times are low, I bring it up. So I try to keep that even keel for the whole organization. And I report to a board of directors. Board of directors, there's 9 members, and they're there for governance. So I operate and manage the team. They are from this community. They're volunteers. Most of them work for businesses or own their own businesses. But quarterly we meet and we talk about making sure that what I say is what I do is what I say, and hence the governance aspect to this organization, because it is the people's team.
Are you happy with the gate that you get for games?
I'll never be happy until we fill the stadium. Now, the stadium has a lot of seats. You can trust me, or you can go count them. There's 56,000 seats in this stadium. Yeah, and I've run up a few times, not too often, right to the last row. Needed a cigarette once I got there, even though I don't smoke. It's just there are too many seats. Ideally, we'd have 40,000, and I'm convinced we would sell out 40,000 season seats because there'd be limited capacity. But again, in our environment of no excuses, we don't blame the weather. We don't blame the fact that we have too many seats. It's what do we do about it? What we have to do is grow our season seat base, which this year, we've been flat for the last 7 or 8 years. We have aspirations to grow, and already at this point in time, when we're a month away from our first home game, we're ahead of last year's season seat base.
Yeah, and I've seen lots of marketing with that too. You know,
yeah.
With a good price, really good base price of $220 to get you in there for season seats,
right.
which is amazing.
Yeah, that, you know, we have a good price point so that we're, again, open to anyone that wants to come watch football. We offer great value. The highest price ticket is only in the $600 range. And this year we've gone to our corporate partners and we put value add packages, so you can get tickets to go see the football at the university level, the junior level, with Tim Hortons has thrown things in. We've got things from a lot of partners, Cal Tire. So if you spend, let's call $300 for a ticket, you're probably getting about $400 back in value add this year. So once that awareness builds, the people are going to say, well, it's a no-brainer. I get all of this and I'm watching football. And when you compare it to other sports, we are great value for your money.
It's an exciting sport too.
It's very exciting. And then we also offer the premium sections for the corporate consumer that says, I want to feel it more like a VIP. So we added a rooftop patio on the south end of the stadium. We have field level lounges now. So we call that toes on the turf. People that want to be closer to the action, hear the hits, and sometimes not have the best view, because you actually do see things better from an aerial view. But when you're down on the field, you get an experience that you can't match when you're further away from the action. Yeah. So there is something for everyone, plus our corporate suites. My own office turns into one that I host for some guests along the way, and Brian Hall stops along pretty well every home game, and he's one of my fixtures now as co-hosting with all the guests that come in.
That's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And another reason why we're doing this interview is people are so interested about you and what makes you tick and all you do on the personal side, right?
Yeah.
So looking back over the years and all you've accomplished, what is something you would tell your younger self? Is there anything that sticks out in your mind?
Yeah, I would look back and say, well, whenever there's hurdles, find ways to get around them. Know what you like, and do whatever it takes to get there. I grew up literally in a basement apartment. We were 4 kids and 2 parents, 2-bedroom basement apartment. We certainly didn't have a lot of money, and I'm one of the first ones in my greater family that went to university. So I made sure I worked hard to pay my tuition to get through university. Then I had to find what I liked. I was great in math, and I had good marks overall, but I used to tell everyone I don't like school. My dad used to say, what do you mean you don't like school? You're on the honor roll all the time. But I never found anything I liked. So I got to university, and then I studied business and got my Bachelor of Commerce degree, and specifically loved the marketing side. Marketing allowed me to join great organizations. I give the most credit in so many ways. So I started after university in sales with Heinz Food. That taught me about relationships. No matter what in life, you got to have people on your side and work with people. Whether you're managing them or their clients or your suppliers, you have to find interpersonal relationships that make things work and stand up for who you are and make a statement. So that's what Heinz taught me. Then I go to Molson's, did more handshaking there, 3 years in sales, but then 8 years in marketing. My best move was transferred from Montreal to Toronto to the head office and learned true classic marketing in terms of positioning, strategy. So that taught me so many things and opened doors galore. And then it allowed me to go to CCM Hockey, who in turn got acquired by Reebok, who in turn got acquired by Adidas. We were a large organization, but I was running the hockey business, and then came to the Edmonton Eskimos in 2011. So, God, time is going too fast in my life, because I hope that the next 20 years can be as great as the past 20 years. Then I know I'm in really good shape. Because I pity the person that goes to a cocktail, doesn't talk proudly about what they do in life, or no one wants to talk about their jobs because they're boring. For me, this is really a joy, and I've always been lucky. People want to talk to me about Molson beer, about hockey, Reebok CCM, or about the Edmonton Eskimos. If you don't get excited about that, I don't think you have a heartbeat.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I would say so.
Well, working out east, what's the one thing you miss about East Canada?
The only thing I miss about the only thing I miss about East Canada, I don't miss the traffic in Toronto, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What I do miss is the fact my daughter lives in Montreal. So she lives with her boyfriend, but I miss that. So the home run would be to have my daughter based here. But, you know, if she came here, then maybe I'm going to be relocating somewhere else, or vice versa. So that's just the way, and no one's too far anyway, and we have all the technology to speak every day if we wanted to. Now she does prefer texting, but that's okay. My mom is 85 years old, lives in Montreal as well. So does one of my sisters. 2 are in Toronto. So I don't have direct family here. I do have one cousin, because my mom was one of 12 kids, so there's a lot of cousins out there. Yeah,
it's a big family.
Yeah, and one of her brothers had 12 kids of his own. So we're spread out everywhere, but I really miss family, but I don't miss the location. I certainly don't miss the politics of Quebec. As an English Canadian growing up in Quebec, I love the people there, but I got so tired of the threat of separation, or the separatists that want to break things down as opposed to making them work together. So I have less tolerance for that, and I realize I don't think I can make a change over there in terms of where I'd like to see it go. Yeah. So when I came to Edmonton, Alberta, I said, oh, I feel at home. And my closest friends and family know that this is where I belong at this point in my life, and my values really fit with what I see here in Edmonton. I love Edmonton.
Oh, that's great.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Stay for as long as you'd like.
Yes, thank you.
Can I ask the fashion question, or do you have more to go?
No. I'm actually good. I do want to know what his first job was too, though. I know that was yours, but that is really interesting. What was your first job?
Well, first job. So when I was 14, I started working at a tool rental store. One of my uncles owned an equipment center, so you could rent lawnmowers, chainsaws, carpet cleaners. So I worked there behind the counter at the age of 14. And hung out there a lot. And he was open 7 days a week. So even when I studied, I was working there in the summertime, and then complementing that with my own. I saw all the equipment. I was telling everyone how to use it. I said, I better start using it myself. So I launched my carpet cleaning service and floor sanding business, putting a little ad in a local paper, got one client who told 2 friends, who told 2 friends. All of a sudden, I couldn't keep up to it. And I didn't have insurance. And I said, oh, I'm running a risk. I got to do this properly or get out. So I got through university and then said, okay, what do I want to do now from a real job? And Heinz was my first job upon graduating. First career job, which lasted a year. And then I moved to Molson's for 11, Reebok CCM for another 11, and now 3.5 with the Eskimos.
Now we're here.
Yeah.
Here we are.
It does pass time. Just click, click, click.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, to segue into the fashion world.
My discomfort zone.
It's not that bad, honestly. Best fashion advice you've ever been given?
Oh, best. My sisters have given me a lot of advice, everyone I date, and it's pretty well, Len, where do we start? So I like to look professional and neat, right. But I am far from being I think, again, because of my background, I almost feel guilty sometimes when I spend money on myself. So you won't see me with fancy cars, fancy clothes. I'd rather take care of my daughter or help my mom, and there's so many other things, a divorce along the way, which can be costly. So that's where my mindset's from. So if you were to analyze me on that front, you'd say, oh, where do we start? I think if you were talking just like the people that have been in my life, I love to be in jeans when I'm at home, and the moment I get in, the suit comes off. But people at work sometimes say, never seen you in jeans. The people at home would say, I've never seen you in a suit. So it depends where we go.
Yeah.
There you go. You answered it. It wasn't that hard at all.
Let's do the rapid fire, because that's always fun.
Fun for you?
It's
for everyone.
Okay.
It's more fun for me because it's hilarious. It's really good. So basically, Brianna's going to ask you some questions, and just as soon as you have an answer in your mind, just right off. It could be weird.
Okay.
But
they could be weird questions. Yeah, exactly. But it's just getting to know you more.
Sure.
Because everyone wants to know Len.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Even
you ready?
Len wants to know Len.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Morning or night?
Night.
Caffeine or no caffeine?
Caffeine.
Beer or wine?
Beer. No, like beer.
There we go. West Coast or East Coast?
West Coast.
Oh. Favorite dessert?
Salted chips.
That's not a dessert. That's a snack.
It's not just for breakfast anymore.
We'll let it go. Favorite coffee shop?
Tim Hortons.
Nice. I was like, he's going to say Tim Hortons. Hot dog or cheeseburger?
Cheeseburger.
Favorite sports car?
Ferrari.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Hot or cold weather?
Medium. I don't like the heat and I hate the cold. A nice fall day is perfect.
Excellent.
September 4th.
Exact date. Favorite book of all time?
The Bible.
Oh, good answer. Cable or Netflix?
Cable.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
The 80s, good or bad?
Great. Rock and roll. AC/DC. Aerosmith.
Favorite dog, type of dog?
Oh, I love dogs more than people. Wow.
The labs, maybe?
Black lab.
Yeah. Okay, yes. There we go. House or condo?
At this point, it should be a condo, but I live in a house.
There we go. And favorite album or artist?
Oh, AC/DC, Back in Black. No doubt about it.
See it? It's done.
Yeah, they're coming here in September, by the way.
They are?
Yeah, Commonwealth Stadium.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a dream come true for me.
I've seen them live 5 times.
Can you
this will
watch
be
it
number
from your
6.
office, that one?
I'll be out there with the fans in my jeans, no suit.
T-shirt and a beer.
That's correct.
Rocking out to AC/DC.
Yeah.
well, thank you very much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. I know you're very busy, and you got the FIFA World Cup, and you've got preseason coming up in Fort McMurray and things like that. So thank you very much for joining us.
Dave, Brianna, thank you very much. This is a lot of fun. It's a great exchange, and you asked me some questions that sometimes I shy away from, but it looked like I had no choice, so I answered them.
Thank you for being so candid and honest, because I know
pleasure.
some of the questions are kind of uncomfortable, and I really appreciate that.
Yes. Oh, it's a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Brianna.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to the Mark Consulting YouTube channel. But guys, you need to subscribe. It's right here. Look, bam. I'll wait. I know everybody procrastinates. Everybody waits around. Subscribe. It's right here. Look, right here. It's free. We give so much free advice. Marketing, fashion. Marketing and fashion. Subscribe. I'm going to wait. Subscribe right here. Look. Thank you.